football, you might be a fan of wrestling as well. Wrestling? Why am I talking about wrestling? Well, yesterday we had Goldberg, the wrestler, on, and he was promoting WWE's SummerSlam. Before wrestling, Goldberg played for the Atlanta Falcons, and it got us thinking about some other wrestling and football crossover moments.
Let's do it.
It's time to do some trivia.
Hey!
Let's go and do some mixed bag trivia. If you know how it works, I'm going to give you guys a choice. Here's the choice, my co-host, and you at home, please play along. It's great. Wrestlers who played football, football who played wrestlers, football who played wrestling, wrestled,
I understand.
or the mixed bag, which is this weird, like, and it could be anything. The mixed bag could be anything.
I think I might choose that today.
You can do it, either one. Sean, you played football. Did you wrestle in high school?
I did not. Play basketball, above the rim.
Above the rim, okay. Sean, would you like to take football players who wrestled or wrestlers who played football?
Yeah, give me football players who wrestled. Usually they're offensive and defensive linemen.
Okay, let's get to it. Sean, April 2nd, 1995, WrestleMania 11, okay? Bam Bam Bigelow and his crew had a famous main event match versus which former NFL player and his crew? It was the main event. It was Bam Bam Bigelow in 95 taking on an NFL player. The NFL player had a whole crew behind him of other NFL players. And Bam Bam had like King Kong Bundy and all of $1 Million Man's crew. All right?
What was Bam Bam wearing at the time?
What is it?
A fiery singlet? Oh, really? He bust that one out? Yeah. No way.
Pride of Asbury Park, New Jersey.
R.I.P.
John Randall, Terrell Owens, Lawrence Taylor, or the most feared man in football, Chuck Cecil.
Man, I love that Chuck Cecil's on the list. Banned by the NFL. I still remember the Sports Illustrated.
That was a hell of a cover.
Look, I got to go with Lawrence Taylor on this one. That totally fits his persona. And, John Randall, I think, would look great in a ring, but I'll go LT.
You're right. It was Lawrence Taylor. Lawrence Taylor comes in there, faces off against Bam Bam at WrestleMania 11, while a half a dozen NFL stars watched ringside. Look at the photo.
Wow.
The guys included Reggie White was in his corner, Steve McMichael, Mongo, Carl Banks was there, and Chris Spielman was there. LT would get the win after leaping from the second rope and nailing Bam Bam with a punishing forearm. WrestleMania 11, Lawrence Taylor beats Bam Bam Bigelow. Jersey was on fire that night. Everyone. It was like our Giants or Bam Bam, our wrestling guy.
Where do you come out in Bigelow's, Peter? Bam Bam or Deuce? Who you got?
I do love my Rob Schneider movies. I like Deuce Bigelow. But I'm going to go with Bam Bam, Jersey guy. Okay. Now it's your turn.
Bigelow's Pharmacy in the West Village.
It's great pharmacy.
That's where I get my Nivea cream.
That's it. You can get it all. You can get some great cough drops, whatever you'd like.
Oh, yes, of course.
Would you like football players who wrestled like Lawrence Taylor or wrestlers who football?
Let's really get out of my comfort zone here and go wrestlers that played football.
Okay, well, we're going to go to Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson because before he was The Rock, he was a high school and college football player at the University of Miami.
So Ballers is like really
Ballers
about him?
In Miami, no.
Now I've seen Ballers.
In Miami, where he played college ball.
Okay.
Which Pro Football Hall of Famer famously told his college teammate, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, "I'm here for your job," when he arrived on campus? So this guy gets there as a freshman, and he looks at The Rock, points at him, and says, "I'm here for your job." Was it A, Warren Sapp, B, Michael Irvin, C, Edgerrin James, or D, Ed Reed?
Okay, well, I've seen Ballers.
Yes.
Spence Strasmore, I believe was his name. He played for Miami, but he was a pass rusher. So I'm going to rule out wide-up receiver and Edgerrin James, and I'm going to guess it's A, Warren Sapp, because I just feel like that's something that he would do.
You're absolutely right.
Is it Warren Sapp?
Well done.
Yes.
Well done.
Thank you, HBO. Thank you.
Good job.
Context.
Peter Berg, isn't he involved in that?
Peter Berg was involved.
Peter Berg, shout out to you, friend of the show, Peter Berg.
That's it. Was it John David Washington plays the receiver?
I love him. Love him.
Here's the story.
What's that show, Entourage with Sports?
Yes, it is. It is.
Your boy Glazer.
Embarrassed to admit I watched it both
Glazer's in there.
seasons.
Terrell Suggs.
He Suggs, yeah.
Here's how the story goes. Warren Sapp shows up to the University of Miami, and he's a tight end. And they're like, "We want to move you to defensive end. We want to move you to line." And he walks in the defensive lineman room, and he looks at all the guys, and he sees a sophomore, Dwayne Johnson, who had been playing the year before for the U. And he points to him, and he goes, "All right, this guy, I'm taking your job." And guess what? He did.
He took his job.
He took his job. And
What?
they remained close friends. But that was the end of The Rock being the next guy at the U.
Sapp.
There's Warren Sapp would have 96 sacks and go on to be a Hall of Famer.
Tommy Frazier took his lunch.
Yes, he did. Yes, he
Warren
did.
Sapp refused to call him Tommy. He would only refer to him as Thomas Frazier, and it pissed Tommy Frazier off, and then the Huskers got over.
Those days of the U were pretty crazy.
I mean, come on.
All right.
Come on. It's the best.
Mixed bag, you in?
Other mixed bag, sure.
All right,
What do you
Kyle.
got?
In April of 2003, Bill Goldberg
Yep.
famously beat The Rock in an event called WWE Backlash.
Oh, great. Wrestling. Give me the wrestling question. Go
All
ahead.
Later that week, who hosted SNL and who was the musical guest the same week as WWE Backlash 2003? This is why you watch Good Morning Football.
I catalog my SNL things according to Backlash.
Goldberg beat The Rock.
Yeah, I know. Yeah,
Pretty good.
sure.
Alec Baldwin and Zwan, Cedric the Entertainer and Good Charlotte, Ashton Kutcher and 50 Cent, or Paul Rudd and a combo of Sean Paul and Wayne Wonder.
They did a tandem, Paul
yeah.
and Wonder.
Yeah.
This is 03?
03.
Okay, there was nothing hotter in the United States of America in 03 than the Kutch man. Ashton Kutcher, not only with punks, nice trucker hats, were everywhere. He launched an entire thing. So, and 50 Cent, obviously massive too. Get rich or die trying. Peter, this is the lowest hanging fruit I've ever seen in this question. I'm gonna be so angry if it's not C, the Kutch and Curtis, 50 Cent. That's my answer.
The answer, it's like the only thing bigger than Ashton Kutcher at that moment in time was 50 Cent.
50 Cent,
And
I
they
know.
both were on the
I
same
know.
time. Ashton Kutcher, we're all right here.
Yeah!
All right.
Got it right. Hosted on May 3rd. We have a round of applause. Kyle, not always the best at this segment. You
I'm
got
like
it, though.
2 for 20 maybe. Now I'm 3 for 21.
This was the height of
I was
punk.
sure that was wrong.
Yeah.
This was the height of Get Rich or Die Trying, and they did a sketch, The Falconer, which was Will Ferrell, which was famous, and then they did a whole thing about no punking, and then they did a whole thing about
Wow.
waiters and clubs. 50 Cent performed in the club, and he did 21 questions.
It's your birthday, Peter.
You got it.
Sip Captain Morgan Spice rum. It's your birthday.
Yes.
We love you, Captain.
Eat a Kit Kat like it's your birthday.
Wow, we all got him right. Who knew?
Watch Eagles Patriots tonight on NFL Network like it's your birthday.
All right, so here we go. The video clue. This WWE, this is a history lesson now.
Okay.
This is for the old school folks. But if you want to do a football life, I've got the guy. It's the answer to this question. This guy was a WWE Hall of Famer, but before that, helped lead the Chargers to 4 AFL title games in 5 years in the 1960s. So he goes from being one of the best defensive players in the AFL with the Chargers, retires, and then ends up being a WWE Hall of Famer. I'm gonna give you the names. Ernie Ladd, Jack Kemp, Dan Fouts, or Ron Mix. There are no wrong answers. I just want to see 1960s football highlights. Kyle, you want to go first?
Yeah, yeah, sure. I'm actually gonna go last because I know the answer for a
Oh, you do?
fact.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll go Ron Mix. D.
Ron Mix.
I like the name.
Great name.
Ron Mix.
Well, I know it's not Dan Fouts, quarterback. Jack Kemp?
Ran for office. I don't know if he ever.
Is it a question or an answer? Jack Kemp?
So, yeah, all right. Ernie Ladd?
Sure. Kyle?
You going A? Yeah, the answer is it was Ronnie the Maniac Mix. That's what he went by in the ring, and I know that for a fact.
Stop.
The answer, the Maniac.
The answer is Ernie, the Big Cat Ladd. This
Big
guy
Cat.
went to a historically black college, Grambling State. Look how big he was. He was 6'7".
That's him, 77?
That's him. He was 6'7". He played for the Chargers, but eventually played for the Chiefs. Was an absolute beast. Okay, 4-time All-Star in the AFL. Helped lead the Chargers to the AFL title. He was going into the Chargers Hall of Fame in '81. But the part that you love is that he had an entire career in pro wrestling after that. He played the heel role. He was the bad guy. He would face off against legends like Bruno Sammartino, Gorilla Monsoon, Bobo Brazil, Dusty Rhodes. He'd pass away in 2007, but he had one of the coolest lives in sports. Star football player in the 60s, and then would go on to be a WWF at the time Hall of Famer. And he was one of Vince McMahon's early ones. So Vince McMahon was the commissioner and was like, Ernie Ladd's the bad guy. He's the heel. Wow. 6'7", absolute beast. And of course, he was football and then wrestling, just like
His
my
finishing
man, Bill
move.
Goldberg.
Guillotine leg drop. How many